This is the 5 Point Play Podcast, the Die Hard Duke basketball fans podcast. Regular season in the books. ACC awards just came out, so we'll give a full reaction to everything that happened there, and then we'll give you our predictions for the ACC tournament this week. The guy in the top left, that's actually Coach P. That's Pablo, but he decided he was going to butter up for a shave tonight. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew. Yep. AC is working tonight, so he may join us a little bit later, but he's not ducking y'all. He's not ducking everybody. Just so all the commentaries can sleep easy tonight when we post this. But yeah, well, we did our UNC reactions yesterday, so it's full steam ahead. It's a new season, and Jack, I'll give it to you. This is kind of your bread and butter talking about the awards. So kind of your overall take from what you saw. Are there any surprises, and what would you have had different?
Can't really say there were any true surprises. I think the closest thing to a surprise is Marcus Burton over Jared McCain for Rookie of the Year, but even that feels pretty valid, honestly, given the numbers. I mean, personally, I would have had McCain, but I am also a Duke fan, so there's that. But I feel like either one could have won. They were both unanimous all rookie selections for the conference. So yeah, but other than that, everything kind of went as expected. I think most improved player is always controversial, but I think Shefflin deserved it. He played out of his mind this season.
Yeah. D, any surprises for you, or it was pretty much what you expected?
No, I mean it's like I'm looking at it right now on ACC Network, and I mean it's pretty on par for like Roach might be a little low in some people's minds, but you got to look at all the great guards the ACC has, and kind of give it that for what it's worth. Player of the year, that's pretty straightforward. RJ Davis played his balls off. Shout out to PJ Hall for getting some nods. I thought he played really well.
Pause.
We've missed you, Pablo.
Oh, man. We'll edit that out, folks. The biggest surprise to me, TK, to answer your question, thank you, is the amount of votes that Marcus got over Jared for Rookie of the Year. I think is the most alarming thing to me. I'm not mad that Burton got it. It's probably well-deserved, seeing he's a freshman and he's the number one option on that squad. But a little surprising of the vote disparity there.
Yeah, the differentials kind of took me off guard. I fully expected Burton to receive that award. He deserves it. Pobbs, anything kind of shock you when you opened it up and saw, everybody that won, everybody that made the teams, anybody that didn't make the teams?
Yeah, I mean, I would just hit on two things that I thought. I'm not sure of the rule, but I think that Hunter Silas, was he not eligible for most improved player?
He was. He got 18 votes. And I agree with you. I agree. I thought him. I was like, how is he not most improved? Yeah, I was like, how is he not most improved? I'm just
going to give you the face. Like, what?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You know what I mean?
Shefflin got 30 votes. He got 18.
That's crazy to me. Yeah. That is crazy. And that's what I'm saying.
That's wild.
Well, obviously he was eligible for it, but I mean, I honestly think that Hunter Silas definitely was the most improved player. And to me, it shouldn't even have been that close. I mean, if you're going to vote like that, I think maybe Hunter should have got the 30 and Shefflin maybe got 18 or something like that, in my opinion. But I mean, it is what it is. And the other thing was just Jeremy Roach. I think he at least at minimum should have been second team.
Yeah.
Minimum. Because he was what, third team? I think third team is kind of
He was third team, yeah.
Especially,
he was kind of low on third team too, wasn't he?
Yeah. But you had Beekman. You had Beekman on second team, who's the defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
that one made sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like you saw how the votes were going.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just felt like
you're not going to go.
Well, make a team?
Coach, you're not going to say the defensive player of the year is only good enough for the third ring of ACC player of the year, so to speak.
Well,
right?
So I'll use the, I mean, you can, you know what I'm saying, but I'll use the example,
Not in the
guys
ACC,
like,
sir.
yeah, well, I'll take it to the pro game real quick, right? There's been instances where guys like Mark Gasol's been like defensive player of the year, but he wasn't
Second
on
team.
team.
Yeah, that's because the awards were voted by two different people, like
Yeah,
groups of
you
people
got to
back
look at
then.
the forwards in the league at the time, though.
Yeah, no, I get, but he was the defensive player of the year, though. You know what I mean? So
Just
that's kind of suspect, but I mean, it is what it is. But like I said, that's really the only thing that was kind of concerning to me. I think, like I said, Jeremy making third team was kind of crazy, especially with how efficient he's played this year. All his numbers are up. Like
a
it's
little low.
crazy. He's
A little
second
low.
team minimum, and
A little
he's
low.
really pushing that first team. So that's just my
85
opinion.
votes is crazy, by the way, too. Like only 85 votes is wild.
Yeah.
That's
Say
wild.
this about Jeremy. I mean, I don't think he should have won it, but the fact that he got no most improved player votes is kind of crazy just because of how much his numbers may have stayed the same, but his actual like ability would significantly improve this year, I would say.
Jack,
Yeah, I mean, his numbers went up across the board.
I think we all know this
Across
as Duke
the
fans.
board.
As Duke fans, we know this. Like, there's a reason Coach K didn't win any Coach of the Years, and like we
Yeah.
talk about recruits getting like the Duke nod once they get that Duke scholarship offer or they sign with Duke, they get bumped up the recruiting draft boards. That's the opposite when it comes to accolades in the
Awards,
ACC.
yeah. Yeah,
You're
you're right.
not getting any love from the voters. If anything, that love, and I'm not trying to be biased, this is what it is. Look at the numbers, folks. That shit's going to UNC all day, every day.
Yeah.
All day, every day. There's so many voters in this triangle area, TK, that me and you reside in.
Yeah.
That it's, I guarantee you Connor voted on all of these.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Right?
it's been that way for years. That
Media get votes still?
yeah,
Yeah.
but like, yes, so but it's been that way for years. That down here, there are so many more Carolina voters that they have always pumped those votes up. And I'm not sitting here saying that obviously RJ was hands down, no question.
Yeah.
Armando being second team with the most votes, that to me was a little surprising. But just keeping it real for Jeremy Roach, Pablo Judah Mintz over Jeremy Roach, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Beekman over Jeremy Roach, that doesn't make any sense to me, even though he was the defensive player of the year. Even O'Meara, who I know that AC had him on his first team, but Miami was terrible this year. I know a lot of that had to do with injuries, but Jeremy, was the leader of our team, who finished second. Like that to me deserves some credit there, right?
No, I mean, I absolutely agree with that. And that's why I always say, like, I really want to know criteria. I want to see the criteria. Like, what are you guys voting on? Like, what are you saying? What matters and what doesn't matter? You know what I mean? Because honestly, it seems like it's all over the place sometimes. And not even like, we don't want to sit up here and be biased for Duke. We could do that all day, but we're not being biased. We're being real. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're being honest. And I think that very like unbiased fans that root for different teams are probably thinking the same thing as us. You know what I mean? Like, for sure, because it's like I just don't understand. Like I said, the criteria just seems a little off, man. Like when they do this voting. So I don't know if they're taking in what are they taking into account? Team wins. How did your team play? What did you do for your team? What else? Like what else is there? You know what I mean? I'm really curious.
Got to be a lot of eye test, man. It's got to be a lot of eye test, and with eye test comes.
I'm okay with that, though.
But with eye test comes bias, right? Like you start to lean one way or the other, and
how much
it does when you only see that player.
I've got to say that's what it is. That's why you get so many UNC leads.
How much of it is, when we talk about bias, how much of it is recency bias, or the opposite, where you already had your mind made up before 7, 8 games were left?
And that's where I think that's a good point that you make, TK. And that's where I think that's where the argument for Jared McCain comes in at
Right.
is the recency bias. You know what I'm saying? Because they see what he's doing now, and he's pretty much captivated. Every time so you talk about Duke basketball, you talk about Jared McCain, you talk about his fingernails, you talk about him shooting with TJ Power after the game, you talk about him smiling, you talk about his TikToks. You know what I mean? And his play. So these are all recent things. You know what I mean? That he's been doing well. So it's like. That's what kicks in, but nah, for sure. I think some of that has a lot to do with it, when it comes to this voting stuff.
Yeah, Jack. Coach of the year went to Hubert Davis. I think that it is deserved. Certainly. Did that surprise you at all? No, did you kind of expect that?
Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, nor should I as a Duke fan. Last year was a massive disappointment for UNC, arguably the most disappointing season in the history of college basketball. Like, you could make that argument. And he turned that team around, like, completely rebuilt it, partially by kicking guys out, but I'm not going to go there.
It's true though. I mean,
Look,
You can't.
regardless of the process, the results are overwhelmingly positive. Carolina is back to where they should be this year, and that is at the top of like national prominence. They're not a joke. They're good at basketball again, and that's, as a Duke fan, I'm saying that is good for the ACC. It is good for basketball, and it is good for the rivalry.
Absolutely.
And he's got them. Personnel are there. The coaching is, I think, significantly better. And he deserved it.
I think Hubert's done a hell of a job, man.
Yes,
I think
thank
Hubert
you.
is
Yeah,
really doing well.
If he proved me wrong, he proved the voters wrong.
Yeah.
Because I was beginning to question whether or not he could coach. And damn,
really?
I was, man, because when he took over, okay, you kind of got a sleigh ride, easy, smooth in roll, and then you just shit the bed last year, and it was like, can you coach X's and O's, in between the whistles in practice, and can you figure out this new NIL transfer portal system? And yes, the answer was yes. He checked all the boxes, and I knew he was a good coach. I've heard him a few times speak. He's a super nice guy, and frankly, I wanted him to succeed. You know what I mean? Like, it's like Jack said, it's good for basketball. When Duke is good, when Carolina is good, it's good for basketball. When Kentucky's good, it's good for basketball. When Kansas is good, it's good for basketball. Michigan State, great for basketball. Am I wrong? Absolutely.
You're absolutely right.
So I'll say this: it's fun to laugh at these schools.
He proved me wrong this year, and he absolutely deserves it.
Yes,
absolutely. But we can't knock him for going to the transfer portal either, Jack.
No,
because that's what Duke was trying to do.
No, I wasn't trying to knock him. I was saying he was able to build a team.
Okay, no, I thought you made
it. He was. Look, he kind of he the way he reconstructed his team last year. Not my favorite method, but again, like I said, you can't argue with the results.
It's the new one and done. It's the new one and done method.
He brought in a bunch of really good players, and more than really good, he brought in a bunch of players who all complement each other really well. And
it's a nod to his coaching ability. It really is.
Yes, it is. It is. That's an important part of coaching.
I'm impressed. So the voters.
If you keep it a buck, though, like if you really look at that roster, North Carolina is not like super duper talented.
No, they're not. They're
not
coached up. So they're coached up, and they fit well.
Two NBA players on their team.
There you go.
I mean, they're not stacked. That's a nod to coaching, man. Like that's a really good job.
Yeah,
and that's why I salute Hubert. You know what I'm saying, for this year. You know what I mean? Because he's done a hell of a job, like just schematically, man, the stuff that he's running and the way he's able to counter and things that he's doing on the court. It's been good. It's been fun to watch, man. I ain't even going front. And we all know that we Duke fans, you know what I'm saying? But we could salute to Hubert. You know what I mean?
It's not great for being down here, I'll be honest with you. But
As a fan of college basketball, I cannot Jay Williams cut a lot of flack for what he said, but I like the way Carolina plays this year. I do. I hate Carolina. I like the way they play.
For sure.
Yeah,
Plain and simple.
I think one thing D brought up the fact that Coach K didn't win Coach of the Year for like 20 something years. And one of the knocks on Coach K was that, oh, well, he has a bunch of 5-star players. But, one of the things we've always talked about on this podcast is that, well, that's part of coaching. Part of coaching is recruiting. And so to Huber's credit, he did a really good job of a roster makeover, taking some people out of there that were cancerous and then bringing in high quality guys that have experience, great locker room people, and it has shown on the court. And so while he has improved schematically, like Pablo talked about, it also had to do with the kind of people that he wanted to build his program around. And, Coach K always talked about that, we have, 3 different ways that we evaluate people. Talent, you got to have talent, obviously. But one of the 3 pillars was, are you a good person? Do you come from a good family and things like that? Because we want to have good people as part of our team and our program. And I think credit to Hubert, he brought in good people. So I think it was well deserved. Kind of keeping it back to Duke a little bit. The fact that we didn't have a single vote for anybody on the defensive team, that's alarming to me. I'm not saying it should have happened. I'm just saying it's alarming that we couldn't do that.
No, it should have happened.
Okay, it should have. Filipowski. I'm going to say this. Kyle Filipowski is an underrated defender. He is one of the best shot blockers in the conference. He is very good. He's ridiculously good for a center at creating turnovers. He's very good at defending the rim. I mean, that's why he looks so exhausted on offense. He's putting all this effort in on defense. He should have been in all defensive. He should have at least gotten a few votes. He's top 5 in so many different rate stats and counting stats on the defensive side of the ball in the conference, and he didn't get a single vote, and that is a horrible look.
Mark Mitchell.
Mark Mitchell. I didn't even think I need to bring that up. It happened 2 years in a row with Mark Mitchell.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, one of the most versatile defenders in college
Not
basketball.
To mention, probably missed time, but could have gotten a look.
I don't want to get shunned off this podcast, because Lord knows I love being a co-host of it. But if I'm using the eye test alone, and I've watched every single second of Duke basketball this season, every single second, if I'm using eye test alone, there's no fucking way me as a Duke fan can vote for him being on the all defensive team. I'm sorry. I don't care about my eyes. Wait. Any of them, like Kyle.
Oh, you bugging.
No, any of them. If we're using the eye test alone, I don't care about your metrics. I don't care about your numbers, your plus minuses, and your adjusted defensive stuff. If I'm using the eye test alone, no, I'm not saying you deserve to be on the all defensive team. No way.
D.
Don't get mad at
me. No, I'm not gonna get mad at you, but let me stop you right there. You know me, right? I'm not a plus minus fucking numbers guy at all. I'm only talking about the eye test when I say it. That's what I'm talking about, because as much as people say, Flip can't do this, he can't do that. When I'm watching the game and I'm seeing him stay in front of the, between his man and the ball, or not in front of the basket and his man, stay in front of a guard or guard. Just that. Did you see the plays that he made this last game against North Carolina? Those 2 blocks
for 40 minutes.
You see that?
You got to do it for 40 minutes.
I got you. And he played pretty damn good. Armando Bacot had 9 points. And that's what I'm saying. Kyle Filipowski's right. They're targeting him, right, in pick and roll, and they kind of figured out that they can't really do that. You know what I'm saying, anymore. You know what I mean? Because he's staying in front of the ball. You know what I mean? So it's that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about eye test, bro. When I see that this is what I see. I'm saying, damn, he's a pretty good defender. I saw that last year.
over a 30-plus game span, I think no. I mean, I'm not saying he's not second team, but no, I'm not like sitting here voting for him Defensive Player of the Year. No way.
I wouldn't say Defensive Player of the Year in the conference because you
God,
got
no.
guys like
Or
Reese
all defense.
Beacon,
Or all defense.
but
I just don't.
I
I think you got
definitely
to give it.
think
You
that
got
he
to
should be
do
on
it for
all
40 minutes, man. You got to do it for 40 minutes.
And I
You
think
can't tell me that
that's one of the things that's been a constant with Flip. Like you've seen his offense come and go, come and go, come and go.
the
Pause.
defense has been
Crazy. But his
consistent.
defense has been a constant.
But
That's
he
what
hasn't.
That's what I'm saying.
He hasn't given you consistent long term. He'll hit a slump where he sits on the bench for 16 minutes in the first half. Like you've got to be there for me, dog. To be on. Well, nah, some of it's not foul trouble. Let's go back and look at some tape. We both know that some of it's not foul trouble. Okay, right? Fair.
How many times has he been benched though?
I'm not even using the word bench. I'm just saying somebody else has some better energy than you right now, whether that energy be hustle or whether that energy be attitude.
I got you.
I will be the opposite of the two men in squares above me here and be the numbers guy. Kyle Filipowski was top 6 in so many. Let me pull up. I actually have this written down. He was top 6 in the conference in blocks per game, defensive box plus minus, defensive win shares, defensive rating, defensive rebounding rate, block rate, and anchored the number 3 defense in the conference.
The thing that was alarming to me when I kind of started this talk was that Duke's defense collectively, like you said, is third, and for a while they were top 2. And, they probably dropped the third after, giving up 84 there to Carolina. But either way, if you're that high and you don't get a single vote, like that to me is alarming. That's the alarming part to me. And
shout out to Jay Lucas then, I guess. But
your team defense is so good that we don't even need a single vote. But, you know what I mean? Like,
but if we're using the eye test and you see guys.
Well, let me ask you a question. We're talking about the eye test, right? And let's move Flip out. We already discussed him. Tyrese Proctor. Now, if you want to make the argument that he didn't play in all the games, okay, fine. But just looking at the games he did play and looking at the ACC Player of the Year, he shut down the ACC Player of the Year twice.
2 times.
Yes.
So.
And think about all the other guards he shut down.
He can't get a look.
When he did play, he played for 38 to 40 minutes. 36
really good defense.
The slow start and the time missed
on Tyrese has been offensively.
The slow start and time missed is the only thing you've got to say to that. Like that's the only.
If that's what every single voter is going to say, that's fine.
Yes, I get it, Jack. I was about to say, unless we start throwing out accusations and shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're hacking or whatever. Slow start, time missed. That's the only thing you can say about Reese not getting some sort of nod for something.
I am going to bring up a baseball comparison. Last season, for those who don't follow baseball, Nolan Arenado did not win a Gold Glove for the first time in his career. And early in the season, he was still one of the better defenders at third base in baseball. Early in the season, he was hitting really poorly, and someone said he's not hitting well enough to win a Gold Glove, if that makes sense, which it doesn't make sense. But the offense might have kept Proctor out of being noticed. That's the comparison I'm trying to make. The offensive numbers make someone noticeable enough that you can point out how good their defense is. This goes across all sports where players go 2 ways.
I think that goes back to some of the biases I talked about.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, it does.
If we're talking about all 74 or 75, or how many voters it is, if we're only using eye tests, that brings in the biases.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think that's the point I wanted to make is that you can let whatever these biases are and self-fulfilling prophecies that you can be convinced of anything. And as soon as people start saying it over and over again, then people are like, oh, yeah, you're right. This guy, he's the best defender in the league. And it takes on a life of its own. And then the the award is already given out in mid-January or early February. Like, it's already done. Nothing you can do after that matters because you've already made up your mind that this person's the defensive player of the year or this person's first team. And if you wanted to make the argument, about Baycott, and it's like, oh, well, last year he was the ACC preseason player of the year, but he played so poorly that there's no way we can put him on the first team this year. And you can make that argument too. Like, there's these things tick on a length of their own. And I think that probably happened a little bit to Tyrese, where we see the offense wasn't there. He was getting preseason All-American looks. And because he didn't live up to that expectation, he must have been trash. When the reality is that he was a phenomenal defender. And to not even get a single vote is criminal. So, I don't know if you guys want to talk any more about the award selections or anything like that. Otherwise, we can get into some ACC tournament predictions and how we see this thing going.
Before we do that,
Yeah.
only thing I'll say is that whoever did not vote for Tyrese Proctor and didn't give him any vote whatsoever, you guys deserve at least one felony. That's what I'll say. But anyway, we can move on.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I was going to say Tyrese Proctor should have gotten some love. It had to be a time of play thing.
Yeah, it had to have been. All right, so ACC tournament starts tomorrow, Tuesday. So
I will be there.
Yep, Jack, going right to you. You're going to be there all 5 days.
You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first.
I will be driving down to Washington tomorrow morning.
Point to Jack.
It's going to be so fun.
There we go.
I am not one of the fortunate people that has been to many ACC tournaments. This will be my second, but Duke won the last one, so hoping for good vibes. I'll say this: it's going to be a really interesting tournament. I am going to be very intrigued by the results of the first day, if we're being completely honest, because
hit me with the bracket real quick. I haven't even looked at it, Jack. What is it?
I'm pulling it up right now. So day one is
where is Duke's section in the bracket? Are they top or bottom?
Duke, I believe, is the bottom of the bracket.
Yeah, Duke is bottom.
Yeah, they play at 7 on Thursday, so that's the bottom.
Yeah.
7 on Thursday, yeah.
And we'll play the winner of.
They'll play the winner of Syracuse versus State or Louisville. So probably Syracuse or State.
I've not even turned on local radio or ESPN since Duke lost to UNC.
You are a smart person, D.
Oh, I know. I could only imagine what was said on 99.9, The Fan, today. It was probably magical, I'm sure.
One way
Rode around in complete silence.
Yeah, so I'm pulling up the bracket right now so that we can share it on our screen.
Computer in front of me right here.
We are in fact all using computers.
Yep. But good stuff. Anyway, while you're bringing that up, ACC tournament. It's crazy that Georgia Tech is playing on Tuesday, and they're one of the best teams I've seen play basketball all year.
Yeah,
every time I see them on TV, Pablo, every time I've seen him on TV, which is 3 times, you looked at me mad crazy. I thought he was.
No, I heard. Did I hear you say Georgia Tech was one of the best teams you've seen play all year?
That I've seen on TV. I've seen them play 3 times.
Shit. Oh, okay. I was going to say you must only watch 3 games.
They won all 3 games. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So
I'm with you.
You beat UNC, you beat Duke, and you beat Wake Forest at home. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that's crazy. They got a got a crazy resume. That's
play. Yeah, they really do. They really do. So, like, people talk about the ACC is so bad, but like every time I look at those standings, I'm like, all right, Georgia Tech's playing on a Tuesday as like a 14th seed, 15th seed, something like that. So they're like the second to last best team. Like, what? That's crazy to me because I've seen them play like 3 or 4 times on TV, and they look really fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they play Notre Dame in game 1 tomorrow at 2. Jack will be the only person in the building. And then you have NC State and Louisville. There actually might be less people for that one. And then
Damn
you
it,
got
Jim.
That's crazy.
DC and Miami.
Crazy TK.
I'm sorry.
Look,
Wow.
so here's our bracket.
So bracket on the screen for
good
those
work
tuning
there,
in
bud.
on YouTube. But yeah, so obviously Duke's not playing until Thursday. Let's start at the top of the bracket though. What do we see happening? Who's meeting North Carolina and who's meeting Pitt? Pablo, I'll give you the first prediction here. Who do you see? Playing both Carolina and Pitt come Thursday.
I think Florida State is going to win. I think they're going to beat VTech, and then I think they're going to beat North Carolina.
Coming out
That would be fun.
That
I think
Georgia
they're gonna
Tech
beat
Wake
North
Forest game
Carolina.
is going to be crazy.
Yeah, that game going to
The
be crazy.
Georgia
So,
Tech Wake Forest game is going to be fucking wild. Tune in for
So
that.
Well,
everybody has Georgia Tech
got
beating Notre Dame.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
for the most part, yeah, I think they pull the pause. I think they pull it out. You know what I'm saying? So that was crazy as hell. So I think
Much.
we might see.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think
It's a
think in the
family
end,
show,
we
bro.
might see
Chill.
a Wake Forest and
That Wake
damn,
Forest Georgia
and a
Tech's
Florida
gonna be
State.
wild.
So you got Wake Forest figuring this thing out, beating
I got 'em
Georgia
figuring it
Tech
out,
and
man.
then Pitt, and then they're playing Florida State in the semis. That's crazy.
That Wake Forest UNC game gonna be crazy.
So you got Wake Forest going against.
I just don't see fucking UNC losing right now. I don't think they win the ACC championship because I don't think they've strung together that many wins in a row this season. Somebody fact check me on that.
Didn't Florida State beat UNC this year?
I don't think they beat them, but they played it close.
They held them close at least.
Well, the point is, I don't think they lose to Florida State right now. I don't know if they have strung together that many wins in a row. Is what I'm. This season is what I'm saying.
Carolina beat Florida State by 7.
Yeah. Am I the only one? Hold on, real quick. Am I the only one that thinks Virginia Tech's going to win that game? I think Virginia Tech's going to beat Florida State.
I think Virginia Tech's going to win.
Okay, so we'll split.
I think you could flip a coin with that game, TK. To be quite honest with you, Virginia Tech doesn't have to travel as far. Obviously, that could be their only saving grace.
It's not that close, though. I mean, especially if they're driving. Like that's not a
closer than
I'd rather fly
Seminole County, Florida.
I'd rather fly from Tallahassee into DCA than drive from Blacksburg, Virginia to DC.
No, dude. Anytime I don't have to go to the airport, I'll drive.
Tallahassee is a miserable flight. I'm just going to say that.
I didn't even know Tallahassee had an airport. So shout out to them for having.
It's very small, and most people fly into Atlanta and then try to make do.
Oh, hell no. So if we have to change flights in Atlanta, no, dude. We're taking the bus.
And they just give you a parachute and tell you to jump out over Tallahassee.
We've turned it into a travel agency here on the 5 Point Play.
Okay, so Play podcast. You can follow us on Patreon.
Fly with us. Or drive with us. Okay, so I think Virginia Tech's going to beat Florida State and then lose to Carolina. And I don't know that Wake Forest can beat Georgia Tech.
I think Wake Forest can beat anybody in this tournament.
I agree.
Depends on which Wake Forest shows up.
100%.
You can beat
any team in this tournament.
If the Georgia Tech that I've seen, because I've watched them 5 times this season, and they're 4-1 in those 5 games. If that Tech shows up, they could win the whole thing.
I don't think they can win the whole thing.
I will say the same for Wake Forest.
5 games in 5 days. I don't think that they can pull that
It's never happened and probably never will.
But
whoa, yes, it has.
Not 5-5.
No, we do 4-4.
Duke's won 5-5, and Syracuse has won 5-5.
No, both won. Syracuse has never won the ACC.
We won 4. We won 4.
And Duke won 4-4. Today's actually the anniversary of that. 7 years.
Shout out Harry Giles.
I thought, yeah, that was that.
Shout out Matt Jones for that 3.
Also true.
No, all right. Well, we'll disagree. but Syracuse didn't win the ACC when they were the 10-game play-in for the 68 field of 68 first year.
When they made it to the Final Four?
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever won that.
No, Notre Dame won the ACC that year, I think.
Did they play for it? I mean, they had to do something in the ACC. I remember that.
It was
was a while
2016.
That was the first year of the field of 68 with the playing games.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But either way, so Pablo has Florida State in the semifinals. I think it'll be UNC and I don't know who's going to be on the other side of that game.
UNC and Wake Forest would be wild.
Carolina Wake would be a great game.
Carolina Wake Forest would be fucking wild.
I think Carolina would destroy them.
I don't think it would be like that. I think Wake would be that hype.
That's possible.
I think they would be that hype. The coaching staff would have them ready to roll.
Yeah.
Gee, I'm looking right now.
The Wake Forest against Florida State.
I would take that. I would take that.
Jack, who do you have in the semis then on top?
That was a crazy pause too, Jack. By the way, that was wild. He said, "I'll take that 3 times." Holy shit!
Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe on the
Patreon, YouTube.
Nobody's safe here, Jack.
Look, okay. In the semis in the upper bracket, I think it's going to be Wake and Carolina.
All right. And then,
I think Wake.
Yeah, who's winning that game?
Carolina. I think we're getting round 3 next Saturday.
All right. Well, let's go to that.
At this point, I'm just being deliberate, Pablo.
Whoa.
All right. So let's go to the
I think we're getting round 3 of the rivalry.
TK, we're officially off the rails.
Yeah,
let's rein it in. Let's rein it in.
I'm trying to get this thing back on track.
That's just tough.
All right, let's go to the bottom half of the bracket then. No one cares about the NC State Louisville game. NC State.
I care.
Okay.
I will probably be sitting courtside for that game because the day 1 tickets are general admission.
That's true. You very might be the only person there.
Only person there.
But
when I went for the first game 5 years ago, I literally walked in halfway through Notre Dame versus Georgia Tech and sat first row. So
yeah, that's pretty sweet.
But Kenny Payne will likely, in all likelihood, will not make it out of the building with his job after that game. So I am interested in that. It's good for the ACC.
Pablo, did you want to react to that?
Nah, man. Go Duke. Go Duke.
Oh.
Go Duke.
All right, so we got. And I think, does anybody disagree that NC State is going to beat Louisville?
Oh, well, I'm from here again, and NC State will be NC State. So yeah, there's absolutely a chance NC State loses Louisville.
Didn't they in the regular season?
I don't know, but I've watched NC State basketball since I've watched Duke basketball, and that's a long time. And they continually fuck up. So, yeah.
It's that NC State shit, as they call it.
Well, either way, I think NC State's going to be there against Syracuse, and then
6-point loss.
Give me Miami over BC.
Sure.
That's a take.
How
healthy is Miami right now?
That Duke-Syracuse game is going to be crazy, though.
Yes.
The Duke-Syracuse game is going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be live for sure.
And then Virginia-Clemson.
Virginia-Duke round 2 is going to be nothing like the first one, so let's go ahead and throw that the fuck out.
Clemson's going to beat UVA.
I disagree.
I actually agree with that.
I disagree.
I think that Clemson Duke Part 2 is going to be scary.
I think Clemson beats Duke.
Yeah.
If we're being totally honest.
I disagree. I think we're getting a Duke Carolina ACC championship game on Saturday.
Yep.
I'd love to be wrong.
I think we're getting I think we're getting Duke Florida State championship game.
Duke Florida State. I think it's Clemson UNC.
So it sounds like everybody doesn't want to see Duke and UNC play in a championship game except Jack. But we're all saying it in different ways. Because Pablo, you're trying to convince me that Florida State's going to somehow fuck around and beat Carolina. No way. They're not going to fuck around and beat Virginia Tech.
I think they might, man.
I don't think so.
I don't want to see it. I think it's what's going to happen.
How they're the 9th team in the ACC is beyond me. I must have been like sleeping through half the season. I don't know. That just shows you like the way the ACC cannibalizes each other, because Georgia Tech, NC State, Syracuse, Miami, all better than them, in my opinion.
Well, I think that every team that plays on Tuesday or Wednesday has a chance to win the thing.
No.
Sorry, Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday or Thursday. I am sorry.
Yeah.
No. I think that none of the Tuesday teams have a chance, but I think any of the Wednesday and Thursday teams could put something together and win.
Let's focus on the semifinals for Duke then. I think it's going to be Clemson. You're saying it'll be UVA.
I don't think Clemson can put it together long enough to make a run like that. Like I don't think they can win 2 in a row against that type of field, like in that environment. I don't have enough. It's Clemson, for God's sake.
It is in fact
I think they're
Clemson.
pretty good.
I get that, but again, it's fucking Clemson. And Tony Bennett's on the other side of the court. No,
exactly my point. Tony Bennett's on the other side of the court.
I'm not going to bet against Tony Bennett in a tournament.
Are you serious? Have you?
I want you to think about what you've just said, D.
I mean,
I didn't care that he lost to a 16 seed. He also won it.
He won it, and that's the only time he's made it out of the first weekend in the last 6 years.
Okay, well, this is the ACC tournament, bro, and I'm not going to bet against Virginia.
All right, so you got Virginia then against Duke, and you believe that Duke wins that game, or you have UVA?
Of course, I believe that Duke wins that game, and I can make a assortment of different reasons why, with different players why, and scenarios why. But fact of the matter is, if we think it's going to be the same Duke-Virginia game that we saw last time, that's wrong.
No, it won't. It'll be closer.
That's fucking wrong. So
if it's the game, it's closer.
I just want to see some attitude and some energy from Duke. Like, that's it.
Go ahead, Pops.
Honestly, I agree with what D is saying. You know what I mean? I don't think that I think Duke and UVA for sure. I think UVA is gonna beat Clemson, and I think it'll be a very rough game for Duke. It could possibly be a rough game for Duke. I'll say that. I'll say that we can. It'll just be a close game. It'll be a close game.
Jack, where do you fall?
I think it's going to be Clemson. I think it could be Virginia, though. Obviously, I think Duke wins regardless of opponent. I think it's going to be a tough game regardless of opponent, but I think Duke is going to come out victorious and then go on and beat Carolina in the championship game.
Well, last thing, I'll say this. Duke or North Carolina playing Wake would be huge. Duke playing Carolina would be huge, and Duke playing NC State before that in the quarterfinals would be huge. That would be fun to see.
Yeah,
yes,
that would be classic.
I would love to see the Big Four get as much exposure as they can.
It would be absolutely, and then UVA after the state game would be absolutely phenomenal for the ACC.
It'd be draining, though.
So then let's get to.
It would be great for the ACC.
No, you're right, but
let's get to predicting the champion then. Jack, do you got Duke winning it all?
Of course. What kind of a Duke fan would I be?
I'm gonna show the kind of Duke fan I am. I think that we have the hangover effect from losing on senior night and all the histrionics that went into it. I think that we lose to Clemson. I think Clemson plays UNC tough, but that UNC ultimately wins the ACC tournament. So I'll be the Debbie Downer here for the 5 Point Play podcast.
Jim.
What do you got, Dustin?
Boo!
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say Duke doesn't win this thing. Are you crazy? Like, You're never going to find me, and that might be a little biased, if you will. But, just sitting here looking at this bracket, yeah, it kind of sets up for a Duke UNC championship game, but that's probably what CBS and Raycom, Jefferson Spilett, and fucking ESPN, everybody wanted. So everybody but the people who live in the triangle who care about that game will be invested. And let's go Duke. Duke against the world.
There we go. Pops?
Just win, baby. You already know what time it is. Duke all the way. I don't give a damn who we playing. Duke all the way.
Well, there we go.
Freaking win.
Yeah, no doubt. I hope that we see some Inspire Ball. I really do. And we get 40 minutes of Inspire Ball.
Hey, yo.
Then we're not going to. Well, that's nothing. If we get 40 minutes of Inspire basketball, then we're going to.
Thank you, TK.
We're going to beat anybody that we play.
40 minutes.
I just have to see it.
You got to get that 40 minutes in.
Give me 120.
Hey, Jack, you're going to be there all 5 days. AC is going to be there at least Thursday, I believe. So, what do we got? We got a live Patreon from DC.
We have not finalized anything, but we are going to try to go live from the ACC tournament at least once. Who knows? I might even be there while we're recording our Duke preview episode for the first game. We'll see.
Oh yeah, get your I don't give a fuck shirts from the link below.
Yep. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Discord for the game day chats, the Beehive, Natty Light scoreboard. That might be taking a break. That may be taking a break for his liver purposes. But either way,
keeping it going.
Yeah, the game day chats are lively.
Keeping it going. Join the Discord. You'll know what we're talking about.
Absolutely. So
right here.
On the links below.
Right here.
And as always, let's go Duke.
Let's go Duke.
Go Duke.
Let's go Duke.